What up, folks? I got some work to do, so let's get started. So, last video, I said I would be using the scraper, but before I can do that, I need to sand some of this flush so that there's a little bit less scraping to do. Let's get to it. Alrighty, there are still some spots that are a little bit proud, especially on the singing face, but I should be able to get most of it with the scraper. And on that subject, it's time to prep the scraper. Now I'm going to be using one of these long sides to do the broad sides here. Well, I guess they're narrow sides. But anyway, I'm going to be using one of these long sides to do those sides. And then I'm going to try to round them out using this curvy side because it still has a little bit of a burr from the factory. But neither of these flat sides have any kind of a burr at all. So, I looked up how to do the prep work. And you're supposed to put a file, such as this brand new one that's still oily out of the package, and clamp it in a bench vise, which I don't have. So instead, I got myself some strips of wood and a regular clamp here, and I'm going to clamp it up to here like this. Now once your file is clamped in here, I am supposed to just grind off whatever's existing in there on the broadside that I want to put the burr on, and then I'm supposed to clamp this burr side up, put my burr on by grinding onto it with a screwdriver or similar object, such as this guy doing something like this type of motion. So, once I get that done, this should be completely usable. So let's give that a try. You know, I think it's somewhat more appropriate for me to use this tension bar that's going in this project instead of a screwdriver to tune up this scraper. Yeah, it seems a bit more poetic to me. Or not. It turns out my tension bar is a little bit softer than the scraper, and I'm making some nice little snail trails in this thing. Well, I guess I'll be using this instead. Alright, time to see if I did this right. Get out of there. And you're blocking the shot. You gotta move too. Imagine that, it actually scrapes. Okay, let's keep going until we get this thing nice and clean. Well, I think I did a bad job prepping the scraper. However, I'm making progress anyway, and it's starting to get a little shiny. Still got a lot of scratches I need to scrape out of here. But I should be able to get it done if I just keep at it for a while and maybe touch up the edges every now and then, like I should be doing right about now. Well, I've had about a day to sit and think about what I did wrong with regards to prepping the scraper, and I'm thinking I don't really need this huge file for the scraper, but I might need it for something else. So I'm just going to set it aside, maybe oil it up so it doesn't get rusty like all my other files are. And instead, I'm going to use this big sawdust-covered, filthy sharpening stone that I need to clean up real quick. Let me do that. Okay, it's clean. Now I'm going to go ahead and oil up the side of the stone so that I can preserve the broad sides for sharpening of bigger tools. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, and let it soak right on in. That's soaking in faster than I thought it would. Let's give it a little bit more because it looks a little thirsty. And let's just set this aside. Move our little vise thing out of the way for a moment. Put this over here like so. And then just grind the side with the rough and then the fine. And then I'll do the screwdriver against it thing. Probably not with an actual screwdriver because I don't want to get up and get one. Alrighty, I think that was definitely a better method for prepping the card scrapers. However, I still need some practice. As you can see right here, look at all those snail trails and scratches I got on this thing. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my mistakes with some 1500 grit sandpaper to try to get rid of some of these scratches and get it all nice, round off the edges a little because the scraper wasn't doing a very good job of that, and just get this thing ready to finish. And then I'm going to move on to another piece of the puzzle, this guide. More on this later. Okay, 2 mistakes with using the sandpaper. The first was that I didn't step it up at first, and I wasn't getting any results with the 1500. So I did step it up, and realized my second mistake was using sandpaper in the first place. But I got my mistakes all cleaned up. I got the scratches mostly out of here. So now it's time to move on to the next bit of this video. So this guy needs to get a radius of about that much. So let's switch out the headgear and get going. I need to rethink my strategy. The acrylic yarn just doesn't have enough rigidity for what I'm trying to do. Okay, new plan. I've got a board, I've got a couple of shins, I've got a clamp, and I've got some sticky sandpaper. Let's see how well this works. Well, assuming Wen properly flattens the stuff on their little scroll saws, this should be good and very slightly curvy. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up this sanded up edge with the scraper and clean up this notch, make sure it's an even depth all around with this old guy that you keep seeing in the intros that I've used maybe once so far. So yeah, let me go and do that real quick. That shouldn't take more than just a few minutes. Well, I have to say, this was very easy to scrape clean, much easier than the instrument, so I'm definitely more a fan of the bellywood than I am of the oak. But I'm going to have to set the instrument aside for now, because in order to complete it, I need to order some zinc, which I still haven't done yet. And I haven't forgot about this guy yet. I still need to get a piece of PVC tubing so that I can steam it, bend it proper. So this isn't going to be the next video either. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is practice using the scraper, prepping the scraper, that sort of thing on some scrap wood that I have laying around. Maybe make some random tool that I might need. I haven't completely decided yet, but until then I've got a little bit of cleaning up to do. So, goodbye.